Welcome back. If you've just joining us, you're watching the news at 10, broadcasting on Channels Television live from Lagos. A quick reminder of our top stories now. Tragedy in Lagos as fire claims the lives of 7 family members. Lake Chad authorities to contribute 8,000 force into the joint military base to tackle Boko Haram. Nigerian army releases 128 detainees suspected to be Boko Haram terrorists. And Denmark suspends rail links with Germany in retaliation over treatment of migrants. All our top stories can be found on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. Visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. When you're done downloading, we do urge you to please interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature on our Android, iOS, and Windows platforms. If you've got pictures or videos to share with us, simply tap on the Channels TV app on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and follow the instructions. Well, here are some of the pictures that you sent in, and we begin with this report of a flooded secondary school in Asaba, the Delta State capital. Our reporter is appealing to the state government to address the issue of recurrent flooding within the school premises and its environs. Next is this report from Warri in Delta State, showing the site of a collapsed building, which our eyewitness reporter says is that of a hotel. He says that the people were trapped in the remains. And this next report is from Kubwa Zuba Expressway in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, showing an abandoned flyover bridge. Our eyewitness reporter says that contractors were last seen on the site more than a year ago. He hopes that someone watching this can effect a change. And finally, is this picture of an eroded road from Agbo Oba Road in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital. Our reporter says that he wants the government to fix the road before it gets worse. Well, thank you so much indeed for sending in those reports, and please note that you too can send in your report from anywhere in the world. Moving on to other stories now. Private investors and regulatory agencies have called for more funding of the power sector to achieve steady power supply in the country. The call was made as the public investigation of the power sector entered its second day in the National Assembly. The committee listened to presentations from officials of the power generation and distribution companies at a session that was repeatedly interrupted by power outages. Our correspondent Lanre Lasisi reports.
It's the second day of this 3-day investigative hearing. At the proceedings, the committee prepared to hear from generation and transmission companies. But the chairman of the committee started with this note to the public.
The 2.7 trillion that was mentioned yesterday was as a result of just trying to reconcile the two figures between the Ministry of Power and the NIPP. That is just the beginning. I believe and I suspect, based on these two, that the figure would be more than the 2.7 trillion.
An official of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission started and touched on liquidity issues in the sector and the intervention fund.
The 2.3 intervention is more like a debt buyback. What should have happened is that the consumers, after that review, they should have immediately hiked the tariff to start recovering that shortfall. Now, the CBN intervention helped us to ease out that tariff increase so that over 10 years, they can CBN into the money, they repay CBN at an interest rate that covers CBN's money.
Representatives of transmission and generating companies were clear about the need for financial intervention in the sector.
We're not paying for the power that we have produced for the last 2.5 years. The tariff needs to be adequate so that we can collect and even pay our bills.
The industry has a severe liquidity problem and a severe bankability problem.
The agency, which coordinated the privatization process, also spoke on the liquidity issue with optimism.
NAC has also committed to review all these tariffs in 1 month and pronounce a new cost-reflective tariff. CBN is also collaborating with other stakeholders to address the liquidity issue. I foresee that in the next 3 to 5 years, power will be stable in this country.
The proceeding was, however,
You
interrupted.
stated that All right. Okay. Well, thank God for the light is back.
As if to emphasize the seriousness of the issues being discussed, these interruptions continued till the day's proceedings came to an end. Lanre Lasese, Channels Television News.
The national leadership of the All Progressives Congress APC, Bola Tinubu, has advised those who are complaining about delays in the release of the ministerial list to be patient, as too much rush sometimes leads to pitfalls. Senator Tinubu was speaking with the State House correspondents after visiting President Muhammadu Buhari, along with the former national chairman of the APC, Chief Bisi Akande. According to him, the party is focused on supporting President Buhari to achieve his goal of transforming the nation.
There's pitfall and rushing. Quick fix depending upon the depth of the rot, and that can rush cascade into mistakes of unimaginable magnitude. So there is equally a glory and recovery in slowness when you have a slow fix of a bad foundation. So to me, I'd rather take the one that will last the country and endure for a longer period of time than the rush hour shopping. He was elected on a platform of democracy. He has adhered to rule of law so far. What is dictatorship about what he has done? He has helped, stimulate the economy in the various states, and that is where the people are in some states. So what's dictatorship?
The leader of the APC, Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Well, we're going to take you back now to our lead story, where we have reported at least 12 fire incidences that have happened just within Lagos State, and a very tragic one that just happened this evening where a family lost 7 members. Joining me on the news at 10 to discuss further on the fire incidences that has been witnessed in Lagos in the recent past, and of course indeed today, is Mr. Idowu Fadipe, the Director of Lagos State Fire Service. I want to thank you so much indeed for coming on the news at 10.
Thank you.
From your findings, what would you say is responsible for the spate of fire incidences that we've seen, starting with the one that we had 7 family members lost?
The information we gathered about the incidents where we recorded life lost was that the very family that the electricity has been dispatched, also have been cut off from their building, and as a result they are now using candlestick for illumination. And when you use candlestick for illumination, you have to be very careful. When you are going to bed, you must make sure that you put it off, because candlestick, if you leave it on, it is wax and it's petrochemical product. It is accompanied by naked light, so when you leave it on, it will reduce from the solid stage to liquid stage, and as a result it will cause an havoc. And one thing you must be careful about is when you want to use candlestick, make sure you place it on a metal plate, so that if it is burning out, then it will not cause any havoc. But even if you place it on a metal plate or surface, you have to make sure that when you are going to bed, you put it off. But the tendency is there, especially where candlestick is normally used, is houses that are only 1 bedroom, and probably the locator people in the society.
But one would have thought that with this kind of scale of the fire that we have seen, it would have spread into other neighboring apartments, but that did not happen. Why is this?
It was very surprising, because the fire was not even very serious as one would have expected to have consumed many lives that were recorded. It affected only the room and the bedroom and the sitting room. the kitchen was not even affected. So it was very surprising. But one thing we must remember is that anytime there's an outbreak of fire, what normally kills first is the fumes, because you will have been fast asleep. So when you inhale the smoke, it will go into your brain and get you arrested. You feel unconscious. So when you wake up, you wouldn't know what to do again. You will be unconscious. And when you are unconscious, that's where the naked light itself will now come and get one consumed. So one has to be very careful.
The fire service, though, did not get there on time. Why do we have such delay in response time and again?
You see, let me tell you, it's only one person that will call the fire service. But when the fire truck is approaching scene of emergency, 1,001 eyes will see the fire truck. People that will see the fire truck wouldn't know when the fire service was called. So they will start castigating. So what we normally tell the public is anytime there's an emergency, the first thing you must do is to make sure that you are in a safe place. When you discover that you are in a safe place, quickly place a call to the fire service. Even if you can start doing something, because we believe that if there's an emergency, the man on ground, if he knows what to do, action to take, is as important as the fire service itself. It's going to be a responder. It's going to be a minor responder. So if you start battling with the fire, before it gets out of hand, the fire service would have been there. So first thing you must do when you are in a safe place, quickly place a call to the fire service. So in a twinkle of an eye, we are there. We are very vibrant in combating fire outbreaks in the state.
Okay.
We have responded to over 1,250 emergencies from January till date.
Mr. Idowu Fadipe, I want to thank you so much indeed, Director of Lagos State Fire Service. Thank you so much indeed for your time and your thoughts.
Thank you.
President Muhammadu Buhari has reacted to those who are describing his administration as slow. But the president has responded, saying the slow and steady wins the race. His reaction is coming at a time many Nigerians say that he has no reason to fail on his promises, judging from his background as a former military leader. In continuation of our series of reports to mark President Muhammadu Buhari's 100 days in office, State House correspondent Chukwuma Onukusi captures some key moments with the president.
President Buhari has come with an agenda of change, promising to tackle insecurity, fight corruption, as well as create jobs. And if you have been in this country for some time now, especially in the last 16 years, you may have noticed that, judging from his body language a few months ago, Nigerians and indeed the international community buy into his promises. But many Nigerians want a quick fix. They want to see electricity work, they want their roads fixed, and in fact they want food on their table, and therefore are impatient with any leader with a semblance of slow performance.
And in some quarters now they are calling me Baba go slow. I am going to go slow and steady.
And slow and steady the president goes, and he has constituted the Kijin cabinet, appointing presidential spokesmen Femi Adesina and Garba Shehu, who he said would defend him when the heat comes from the media and indeed Nigerians.
I got one of you, the best one of you, so that he can consistently defend me against you.
The presidential spokesmen are already at work defending their boss. For instance, here is the special advisor on media and publicity, Femi Adesina's reactions to criticisms that have trailed the appointment so far and the president's inability to appoint ministers yet.
No law is broken, except you can tell me what law is broken. Because the Constitution just tells us that there must be a cabinet. It doesn't give maximum timeline or minimum timeline.
One other mind-boggling issue to the president is insecurity. He says you can't administer a country that you have not secured. And to adequately secure Nigeria, he removes the service chiefs he inherited from his predecessor. And here swears in the new service chiefs. Their swearing in is with a mandate. Get rid of Boko Haram in 3 months.
If you are giving a mandate of 3 months, I have problem with that. But for the ordinary Nigerian, the only way we can say Boko Haram has been defeated is when we don't hear about the bombs anymore.
He's commander-in-chief. He has information that we don't have. And for him to have changed the timeline means there are things he knows.
The president also seeks the cooperation of the Western world. He has been to G7 and the United States of America seeking cooperation to fulfill his mandates. Testimonies from such visits are resounding.
We believe in him and we believe in his message and what he's going to try to do for Nigeria. And then from our side, we're committed to supporting that.
The president promised that the economy will be revived and jobs created for the teeming unemployed Nigerians. Political observers say that the president has a 4-year mandate. He has just spent 3 months out of it. They believe that the direction in 100 days is an indication that by the time he finishes, Nigeria will never be the same again. They are watching to see that promise fulfilled. Chukwuma Onwekusi, Channels Television.
Still ahead on the news at 10, an assessment of the president's performance in his first 100 days. I'll be joined on the news at 10 by Mutui Olazukbo, a political science, a senior lecturer, Political Science University of Abuja. He'll be speaking to us in just a moment. Stay with us.